Lovely. So welcome everyone. We're going to focus on a little topic that keeps arising with clients of mine today, and it's around busyness and how we get sort of stuck on that hamster wheel as busyness. So we're going to do two practices. The first practice is more of a settling in and arriving practice, and then we'll do a short topic, and then we'll go into the second practice, which is a bit longer than the first. So let's begin. You can lie down or you can just stay seated. And if you're seated, just seeing if you can have your feet uncrossed so that your feet are firmly planted on the ground and your spine is nice and long. So we want to bring a sense of wakefulness to this posture. If you choose to lie down, just uncurling your feet and having your arms beside you. And you can simply close your eyes or lower your gaze with a soft gaze, whatever's comfortable. And let's begin by taking 3 really conscious breaths. So an inhale and an exhale. So breathing in through the abdomen, through the nose, breathing in. Up to the chest, and then breathing out through the mouth, just imagining there's a sense of really letting go. So breathing in, a big inhale through the belly, diaphragm, into the chest, and then exhaling through the mouth, making a noise if you want to. And just imagining that the body begins to soften. And one more big conscious inhale through the belly, through the diaphragm, into the chest. And then breathing out through the mouth. Imagining that every cell in the body begins to soften. And just turning your attention now to wherever the breath settles in the body. So you may notice simply the breath just in the nostrils. You may sense the breath in the chest, the shoulders, perhaps a rib cage. Or you may sense the breath in the abdomen. So turning your attention towards the breath. And we start here with the breath because whenever we are, wherever we're at during this practice, the breath is a safe harbor to come back to. So just sensing where you notice the breath in the body. Breathing in, breathing out. And as we begin, we're just going to bring a gentle counting to the breath as we settle into this practice. So counting in for the count of 4 and then breathing out for the count of 5. So I will guide you, and we'll just do a few rounds of this, and it helps really settle the mind when we turn our attention towards counting the breath and just being with the breath. So breathing in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now just letting the breath settle. Just allowing the body to do its thing. It knows how to breathe. So just placing your attention as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, placing your attention on the breath and allowing your day, your morning, everything you have to do after this practice. Imagine that that's just floating into the background and you're resting your attention on the breath. So the breath becomes center stage of your awareness. Perhaps noticing the busyness of the mind. So if the mind has wandered off the breath into thoughts, into planning, into daydreaming, just noticing where the mind has traveled to and then bringing your attention back to resting on the breath as you begin another inhale. So with every exhale, just imagining that you are sinking further down into the body. There's a real sense of letting go with each exhale. Rather than thinking about resting our attention on the breath, we're really sensing the breath. So perhaps you notice how the belly expands on the inhale and how the belly is released on the exhale. Perhaps you can sense the gentle rise and fall of the chest with each inhale and exhale. And anytime the mind wanders into thoughts, again, noticing where the attention has gone and then bringing your attention back to resting on the breath. So the mind wanders. We begin to become aware the mind has wandered. And then we bring our attention back. And we begin again with another inhale. So moving your attention now away from the breath and to thoughts, any thoughts that are present. Noticing the quality of thoughts, the kind of thoughts that are present, whether there's a lot of busyness in the mind, whether there's perhaps one repetitive thought. So we're becoming present to what's on the mind. And you can hear a phone in the background. Just noticing how extra noise can take our attention away. So just coming back now to resting your attention on what thoughts are present in this moment. Now moving your attention to how you're feeling in this moment. So there's no judgment. There just is paying attention to how you are in this moment and perhaps noticing that thoughts and feelings can be quite intermixed, connected. So we don't often ask ourselves how we're feeling in the moment. So this is a great opportunity to turn inwards without judgment, being curious how you are in this moment. Now moving your attention away from how you're feeling in this moment to how the body is in this moment. What is present in the body? So imagining that you're zooming your attention around the body with an open curiosity, noticing any sensations, perhaps any discomfort or tightness, perhaps noticing ease, softness, warmth, coolness, or tingling. Not needing to change any sensation that's present in the body. And if your experience is no sensation, that's okay as well. But perhaps just noticing simple sensations like the weight of your hands on your thighs or on the floor beside you. Feeling the weight of the body, perhaps, with whatever it is connected to, whether it's the floor or the chair. And now letting sensations in the body just float into the distance and turning your attention once more to the breath in the body as you begin an inhale. Perhaps noticing how busy the mind is, and we can only perhaps take one inhale before our mind wanders. So if that's your experience, that's totally okay. Just noticing if the mind has traveled and then bringing your attention back to resting on the breath once more as you take an inhale and you begin the practice again. And now as we come to close our first practice together, just imagining that that breath is now extended throughout the entire body, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head, as if the entire body is now breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. The entire body and the skin has become porous with every inhale and every exhale. The entire body is now breathing. And gently, in your own time, just releasing this practice and opening your eyes. So apologies about the phone call, but that's a bit of life. We mustn't try and make our meditation practice perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection. And it's a good reminder of our lives are filled with distractions, and it's how we cope with those distractions. So there's no accident, I always say. There's always something to learn from it. So today, just quickly, I wanted to introduce the topic of busyness, because it seems to be a common narrative with clients at the moment, especially around their work, the busyness of their lives, but work consuming most of their day and their weekends. And busyness is it's not a judgment about busyness. So I'm not bringing a judgment to being busy, because there's a time when busyness is really motivating and we can get a lot done and we're very productive. And it's a bit like the bell curve of stress. When it's in the middle, I think it's called eustress from memory. It's a healthy stress or a healthy busyness where we get lots done and we're productive. The problem is when we get too busy and we sort of move into overwhelm and we start feeling a little bit out of control, like life is controlling us or work is controlling us, and we're being driven by this busyness. And that's when we really need to address it, or if not, even before it sort of turns into that. And one question I'd like you to ponder and just to sit with is, usually there's a motivation behind busyness. You're getting something from it when you've tipped into that extreme busyness. One client I was speaking to, this busyness has become very addictive. And because he's in this cycle of busyness, everything else goes out the window, including his well-being. So exercise, eating really well. He's just consumed with this busyness of work. And it's a really hard cycle to get off, because the adrenaline starts going and you sort of live on that adrenaline of busyness. So it's a good question to ask ourselves, well, what's driving this busyness? What am I getting from it? And for some people, it's, I want to be seen as being really productive. Or it could be, busyness keeps me away from looking inwards and addressing some of the things about myself. It's a good sort of escape mechanism. So whatever it is, it may be, I've been busy for many years and it's just the life I know, and that's just how it is. So it becomes a real pattern or a habit of behavior. But the question is when it slips into overwhelm and you're feeling out of control, you've got to do something about it. And what might you do? And understanding that motivation helps to really unlock it, so that then you can take control back and start doing something, taking some action. Whether it's saying no to a few things. And for women, especially, I think no is really powerful. So saying no to some of the things that are really depleting us, or that are unnecessary. And our well-being is really, really key, because when we look after ourselves, we are productive, we're better at what we do, and we feel better within ourselves. So on that note, and part of this where we practice together is, in some respects, we are having a break from that busyness. We're cultivating stillness of the mind. And when we can have that sense of spaciousness between us and our thoughts and our actions, and even our breath, we start to, we benefit from that sense of spaciousness, because it's like we can breathe and gain a better perspective and see things in a different light. So in many respects, we're cultivating the opposite of busyness in this practice together. So that's a good thing. So let's begin our second practice. And you can lie down in this one or stay seated if that's more comfortable. And just adopting that same position as last time, bringing a sense of wakefulness and closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, whatever's comfortable. And let's begin by coming home to the safe harbor of the breath in the body. It's that safe harbor that you can return to again and again throughout your day if you're busy. Just taking 3 conscious breaths when you're busy and feeling your feet on the floor is a good practice. So turning your attention towards the breath in the body. Breathing in and breathing out. So the body knows how to breathe. You don't need to force the breath in any way. Noticing the quality of the breath in the body. Does the breath feel long and smooth or short and restricted? Is the inhale longer than the exhale or vice versa? Does the breath feel forced in any way? So again, not bringing judgment, just bringing a general curiosity to how the breath is in this moment. Now moving your attention towards the nostrils and just sensing the breath. So we're paying attention now to the breath in the nostrils, breathing in and breathing out. So noticing perhaps the coolness of the breath as you breathe in, the warmth of the breath as you breathe out. And noticing perhaps, is one nostril more dominant than the other? So sensing the breath through the nostrils and noticing, is there any sense of smell as you breathe in through the nostrils and as you breathe out? Now moving your attention now to your eyes and placing your attention on the outside of the eyes, the eyelashes, the eyelids, but also on the insides of the eyes. Exploring sight inwards and outwards. So sensing the eye sockets, the optic nerve, now moving your attention towards your ears and exploring the sense of sound. So opening your ears to sound all around you, near and far. So noticing how sounds come in and out, much like thoughts do. Sounds come in and hang around for a while, or not, sometimes in and out. So not needing to name each sound, but just opening up to the soundscape all around you. Becoming present to the tone, the pitch, the volume of each sound. And now moving your attention towards the mouth. So sensing the lips, but also inside the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the gums, perhaps saliva. Observing the sense of taste. Perhaps even noticing how our sense of taste and smell are directly linked. So exploring the inside of the mouth. Exploring the lips. This wonderful vessel of the body that enables us to communicate and to speak. Moving your attention away from the mouth and exploring the sense of touch. So simply with an open curiosity, exploring the body, perhaps noticing fine follicles of hair on our scalp, or hair resting on parts of the skin, perhaps the neck or the shoulders. Noticing the sense of touch, perhaps of your hands resting on your thighs or on the floor or chair beside you. The touch of clothing on the skin. Noticing if the sense of touch, there's one area of the body that is more dominant than the others, perhaps. The sense of touch is very subtle. And now exploring, if you can, and just approaching this from an open curiosity, the sense of intuition. So the other senses are very tangible. And this sixth sense, that it's often called is quite intangible. So exploring the sense, the sixth sense of intuition. You may call it guidance or wisdom, whatever name you have for it, but that inner knowing. And noticing where that sense is perhaps felt in the body or known, in whichever way it speaks or communicates with you. And now holding in with full attention all six elements. The gift of intuition, hearing, touch, sight, smell, and taste. These incredible senses that enable us to communicate and connect with the world around us, with one another. So opening up to all six senses in this moment. It's almost allowing them just to be present with an open awareness. Now turning your attention back to the breath, resting your attention on the breath and just allowing these incredible senses that we're all gifted with just fade into the background as you turn your attention now towards the breath as you take an inhale. And any time the mind wanders off the breath, just noticing where the breath has traveled to, where the mind has traveled to rather, and then bringing your attention back to resting on the breath once more. So we're cultivating awareness, we're cultivating a sense of waking up anytime the mind wanders. We're bringing our attention back to the breath, and that builds the muscle of attention. It builds the muscle of being present, of being wide awake, eyes wide open, internally and externally. So if your experience today is that the mind is really busy, just letting that be your experience. So the practice is in bringing your attention back to the breath every time the mind has wandered. And as we come to complete this practice, before we do, cultivating a sense of love in the heart and the chest. So we're using our imagination to imagine that we're bringing love from the earth, from Mother Earth, through the soles of our feet, up through the body and into the heart region, as if our heart is beginning to fill with love. And if you can't imagine that sensation or feeling of love, no problem, just doing it and having the intention that it's love is enough. Maybe just seeing the words. So breathing in through the soles of your feet and bringing that love from Mother Earth up through the soles of your feet and into the body and into the heart. Breathing in that love from Mother Earth through the soles of your feet, through the body and into the heart space. Maybe just putting a little smile on the face as you do. Just imagining that you're bringing in love from the earth, intending for that to be so. And now imagining that love that you're filling up your heart with is starting to expand and tip out over the heart and into every organ, every muscle, every limb, every tendon. So it becomes, the body is becoming filled with this love. So it's like a cup running over with love. So your body begins to be that vessel of love, if you like. So the whole body is now bathing in this sensation of love. And gently, as we close this practice together, just giving yourself thanks for taking this time out just for you. I know it can be a hard thing to do, to find the time for us. And in your own time, releasing this practice and opening your eyes.